Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Food 101. Food, people. Let's talk about food. And today I have my special guest. He is a fellow podcaster like me, and no other than Mr. Turner. Am I
Yeah, man.
correct?
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, Mr. Pete A. Turner. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm great. It's great to be on anybody's show, and you and I both know what it takes to run one of these things. It seems like you run several of them, and I'm delighted to be able to spread whatever it is that I've experienced around the world. It's such a cool thing to get to sit in your airplane and check it out. As a
Yes,
guy that flies his own air, and we're talking about podcasts, but I'm using airplanes as a way to describe it. But it's neat to be inside someone else's show. I love your vibe. I love the view of it. I saw your other show backing. All this stuff, man. To me, it's wonderful to be able to do these things with other folks. So thanks for having me.
definitely. So, Mr. Pete A. Turner, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about the other side of you, your favorite food.
I think day in day out, I like Mexican food the best. And
Mhm.
that's all kinds of Mexican food. It's not just one particular kind, but that's probably the thing that I eat the most. Maybe that or sandwiches, but Mexican food to me is really it's an interesting thing, and gosh, I just enjoy trying new places.
Hmm, okay. So, Mexican food. What age did you realize that this is my favorite food?
I don't know, probably as an adult, when you're a kid, you have different tastes. I realized that I missed Mexican food when I was in Germany with the army, and we still had access to Mexican food, but I'm like, this is potatoes. These aren't like Mexican. This is German food done in a Mexican style.
Hmm.
And when I went home, and I'm like, oh, this is what I was missing. The different spices, the smokiness that Mexican food often has. And so I guess maybe right around my mid 20s was when I'm like, oh man, I really, really love Mexican food. It's going to be a big part of my life.
So, tell us, what is your favorite recipe in Mexican food?
I probably like I probably like enchiladas the best, but I will say seasonal style. The A good tamale around the holidays to me is just like a special thing, because you certain things just like the right recipe at the right time of year, the right dish at the right time of year. I think that makes it great. And tamales fall into that category for me. But also, and I got to say this, a lot of my in-laws are from Mexico, and they eat a completely different style of Mexican food.
Hmm.
And so there are so many dishes that I get when I go to their home, and they blow me away with how different and how just beautifully prepared they are. They're so good. And so there's this, well, they make pozole, but also these tostadas that they make that are like nothing else I've had anywhere else, and they're wonderful. And so I'm blessed to have a lot of good options.
Definitely. So, do you have a favorite restaurant that you go through that specialize Mexican food?
Yeah, there's a place down in San Diego that I go to anytime I'm in town. I make a point of going there, and I don't even know the name of the place, but I know where it is, and it's great. It's down by the beach, and I just love the tacos there. And so I'll go 20 minutes out of my way just to get to that place before I leave San Diego, because I just think so highly of the way they do it. And it really, for me, it's their sauce. Their
Mm.
sauces that they have are just they're incredible, and their fish like it's like if you're gonna get a fish taco, San Diego's a pretty good place to do it. So whatever I get, it's going to be great. And my problem is I don't get down there enough. San Diego's not that far from home, but it's a little far for just going for just food. But when I am down there, and I try to be down there as often as possible, I always stop there. It's so good.
So, Mr. Pete, beyond the ingredients and recipes, what is the soul or essence of authentic Mexican cooking?
Authentic Mexican cooking. I think the soul of it is the abuelitas, the grandmas,
Hmm.
and they're stirring over a pot for hours to make this dish that we get so wrapped up in instant food like burritos just made right there, and then 2 minutes later you have it in your hand, and there's a lot of value in that, but there's something special to that grandma just slowly cooking something, and when you eat it, you're just like, oh my God, there's not just it's not just the food, right? You get this. There's the love that goes into it. They're preparing something for their family, and that is such a wonderful experience. I just can't get over to my in-laws enough to go and eat with them, and they're such sweet and wonderful people. Everything about it is great.
Hmm, definitely. The term authentic is often debated. How do you navigate the line between respecting tradition, allowing cuisine to naturally evolve?
Yeah, I'm okay with either way. Tex-Mex is not Mexican food for a lot of people, but I throw it all kind
True.
of in the same pot.
Hmm.
California Mexican food is different than Tex-Mex Mexican food. What state are you in? And it's going to be different there too. Something from Oaxaca is different than something from Mexico City. So I let those places be those places and be special in their own right. And I also don't mind a deconstruct, like a burrito bowl. That's certainly not Mexican. That's an American diet based thing. And I love a burrito bowl. But also, I don't know if you've ever heard of these. They're called susharitos. And so they'll make like a giant sushi roll, but with Mexican style flavors in it quite often. So imagine a California roll or something huge, like in burrito form, but with a little combination of that Japanese and that Mexican. And I love those things. They're so good. They're so clever, and I love all of that. So I would say I'm pretty open with what is Mexican food and what's authentic. I think as long as it's good. But I
Yes.
will say this. If I get a little too far north, like if I get up there by you, I'm going to be suspect of Mexican food and probably not even pick it because I've learned my lesson that like when I go to see my cousins in Montana, they'll say, let's go to the Mexican place. I'll go, but I'm not going to be excited about it because they're catering to a different clientele than what I'm used to. And so, it's not bad. It's just not great. Chicago, I found the same thing. A lot of Mexican folks in Chicago, but they're making food for people with less colorful palettes. And so I would say that's sort of where my authenticity runs into a wall is if I'm too north and really too far east. Like if I'm in Kansas, I probably can find good Mexican food, but the degree of difficulty is higher.
So, Mr. Pitt, have you been to Mexico and compare the restaurant or food over there from the US?
Yeah, sure, 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 sure. And a lot of times when I'm in Mexico, I'm in a pretty nice place for Mexico. And so the food is pretty good. But my favorite thing to do is if I'm able to, is get off of the resort area and go into town and get the real Mexican food. And that's always a treat because, well, look, they're making their favorite things for each other. And they're not
Yes.
making the stuff that they make at the resort. The resort is a little bit, look, they're trying to satisfy a lot of palates at a resort, right? So it's wonderful, but there's better stuff. And one of my favorite places, if I'm in Mexico, if I'm down in Cabo, I love to go to the office because that place is on the beach. And if you give that the maitre d' $5 extra, he'll take you all the way down by the water with a table and set you up. And that is just that's choice because now you got great Mexican food in Mexico, but you're also on the beach staring out at that bay. Oh, it's so nice. I love it. So that for me is hard to top. You can get there in San Diego and in LA areas, but you're in Mexico, so it's just maybe a touch better because you're on vacation as opposed to like trying to get in a dinner on the way to go somewhere else.
Definitely. And Mr. Pete, Mexican food varies dramatically by region. Could you paint a picture of a difference between, say, Oaxacan or Yucatan and northern Mexican cuisines?
I'm not that savvy with that. My in-laws are from the Yucatan side, from the actually they're over on the Gulf side of the Yucatan. So they have a particular way of making steak that I can recognize is different. And I've had Mexican food in a lot of Mexican cities, and I think the steak is a good indicator of how they do it. It's hard for me to describe what's that there. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't want to pick any one thing over another thing, and I wouldn't try to describe it because I don't know that I have the wherewithal to do that. But I do know that when I go to Veracruz, like where my family is from, that food is particularly satisfying to me. Maybe it's because I'm familiar with it from home, but Veracruz, awesome, and obviously, some of the other areas have their own wonderful things. But regionally, I couldn't tell you.
Mm, definitely. So, Mr. Pete, before we continue our discussion about your favorite food. Tell us what is all about your podcast.
A podcast. Well, I'm fortunate to have a very successful show. I've had a lot of really, really, really incredible, famous people on. Very successful authors, musicians. The musicians that have been on my show have sold over 1 billion albums. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
really a big collection of people. I just recently went to Las Vegas and interviewed two Hall of Fame uh, dudes from the boxing world. They're not boxers, but one is a cut man. He's been in Rocky movies. He's so famous. And
Awesome.
then the other guy is the guy who makes all the big fights. So if Pacquiao is fighting somebody, this guy's making that fight. If whoever it is fighting, he's the number. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in several halls of fame. He's so dang good at that stuff. So I'm fortunate to get to know a lot of very influential, wonderful people, but also just a lot of folks who deserve more attention and are equally as brilliant, but they just don't have the big audience. And so
Yes,
I'm lucky to be able to do that. But you know what this is like. You can get almost anybody on a podcast these days,
true.
and you just keep doing it. And it's just wonderful to be able to meet these folks. I was in this, just real quick. I like to do my show on the road as much as possible and go to the guest's house.
Mm-hmm.
And last week, well, not only did I go to Vegas and interview two Hall of Famers, but I went up to LA, into Hollywood, and I went to this home. This home used to be owned by Orson Welles and Joan Crawford, right? And now
Yes.
a lady named Ruta Lee, who's an actress in her own right, she owns it. And so I'm in this mansion on Laurel Canyon Road, which is a big deal around LA. And I'm her guest in her wonderful house. And she's just excited to see me. And so not only am I going to get a chance to talk with her, but we're so filled with joy. It's wonderful. So my show is a lot of that kind of thing where these experiences come at me, and I try to relay that to my audience as much as possible.
Tell Mr. Pete, what are your short-term and long-term goals as being a podcast host?
Well, my show continues to be very productive. It gives me a lot of opportunities. And right now I'm working on a project that my show helped create. So I just want to keep doing that. My short-term goal is to continue to do what I do so that I can find and develop ideas that come out of the show's existence. So that's the daily work that I do. The long-term thing is I'm trying to make some movies. My show has made me into a movie producer, and I've got several projects. So one of the reasons why I went to Las Vegas to talk to boxing guys was
Nice.
because I'm going to make a boxing movie, and it's crazy to say those words, but we're well past the starting point. Will we get this movie done? Who knows, right? Because it's so hard to do a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody we talk to is excited about it. Everybody wants to help, and everybody's sure that we're going to find the money for it. So we just keep adding to the pile of the things that we have to do to get this thing made. It's a big pile. But I can't believe I'm telling you that I've become a movie producer. How crazy is that? From a podcast.
Good luck to your goals and congratulations,
Thank you.
Mr. Pete. Looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be, of course, like you?
Oh gosh. I mean, if it's podcasting, I would say the biggest thing is just to keep going. If you're into it. If you're not, you realize you don't like it. It's like not a lot of
Sure.
us try to play the piano, but a lot of us aren't piano players because you just get fed up with it and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So um, don't be too precious about podcasting. Just see if you do it. And if you keep showing up day after day wanting to do it, hey, you're a podcaster. And if not,
Yes.
you're not. No big deal. I mean, we don't get mad because someone doesn't play the piano. You're like, mad, me neither. I tried to learn Spanish 5 times. I haven't learned Spanish yet. These are the podcasting is no different. It's a discipline. And if you have the discipline to make it great, then you should do it and you'll have a great time and there'll be it's just there's so many rewards in this world, and you know this. You meet amazing people, you do amazing things, and it's just so life enriching. I encourage anybody that can withstand the work to do it. It's great.
Yes. Do it, people. If you have the passion to be a podcaster, do it, do it, do it, and do it
Yeah.
with consistency. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Pete. So, how is a Mexican food deeply intertwined with family, community, and celebration in Mexican culture?
I'm going to slightly change your question, and I want to tell you a fun story about Mexican food, but it goes to what you're talking about. So
Yes.
I was working in Afghanistan. I used to be a spy, and I was
Mm-hmm.
working in Afghanistan, and I realized that whenever you're in a war zone, the Afghans, the Iraqis, the Bosnians, wherever you are, like the Egyptians, they're always feeding me, right? I'm always their guest, and it's great to be a guest. But
Yes.
I was telling the Afghans I was with, like, why don't I make you guys dinner? I know, like, you're gonna make us dinner, and I'm like, yeah, not army dinner, like regular dinner, and I'm gonna make you guys Mexican food. And these guys live in the Stone Ages, like where they are, there's nothing out there, and they're like, we don't even know what Mexican food is. And I tried to describe it, and I'm like, never mind, let me just go get it. And so my girlfriend at the time sent me all the pieces to the kit to make Mexican food, and a lot of it's pre-made and not as good as home would be, but um, I had to cook on an earthen stove off of cardboard, with like whatever pots and pans they had available. And I made this, I made this wonderful Mexican. And these
Yes.
guys didn't know how to make tacos. They had no idea. It was all pretty simple for us because, we know tacos and it's all ready made. But I was able to show them how to do it, and they were super champs about it. Like the food got cold fast because it's cold there and everything else. But it was such a delight to feed these guys Mexican food and kind of walk them through the whole process and to do it in a traditional Afghan oven stove situation was just one of the thrills of my lifetime to be able to do that. And so I was able to take Mexico food. And I don't know how many Mexican dishes have been served in rural Afghanistan, but if that number was greater than one, I'd be surprised because there's not a lot of Mexican joints in Afghanistan. And so it's a really neat thing to be able to do, and I'm super stoked that I got to do it. I hope that I get to do something like that again for somebody because I've realized that being able to break bread with folks is it's a thing that unites people.
True. Food is always something that unites people. And Mr. Pete, beyond the tortilla that you like best, what are the most common and delicious misconceptions about taco can be?
Well, I realize that a lot of folks don't know what tacos are if it's not part of their culture, right?
True.
I love to watch the British Baking Show, and they had tacos as one of their challenges for the day, and they just didn't know what a taco was, and so they kept saying, "This is the taco," and like they didn't know like how to talk about it, and and they were just a little bit off. And so these British people are trying to make tacos, and I'm sure the food tasted wonderful, but they didn't know how to prepare tacos, and it was hilarious. And then you saw in the comments about the episode a lot of people getting angry because they didn't know what tacos were, and it never occurred to me that people wouldn't know what tacos were. But when you go to another country that doesn't do that kind of food, of course they're going to do it differently because they don't have the abuelitas there to show you how to cook it. I was in Austria one time, and I was in a
Mhm.
bar, and I said, "Oh, grilled cheese sandwich, wonderful." It was terrible. It was awful. They didn't cook it in butter. I mean, they just basically made toast with some cheese, and it wasn't very good at all. And I thought, wow, it's funny. These guys don't know how to do grilled cheese, so there's no way they know how to do nachos. And so they had nachos, and I'm like, "Let me tell you how to make these things." And they sent me back to the kitchen. They're like, "Oh man, show us how to make nachos." And so I got a chance to show that as best I was able in their situation how to make better nachos. And they loved it because they wanted to get it right. And so again, these nachos are such a simple dish, but if you've
Yes.
never had them done well, then someone has to show you. And you can look at 100 pictures, you're like, how do I do that? I don't know. And so just showing them the steps for making good nachos was another one of those wonderful experiences.
Definitely something else. Mr. Pete, let's talk about the evolution. How has the global rise of Tex-Mex, which is you were talking about a while ago, and
Yeah.
chain restaurant shaped the world's understanding of Mexican food, for better or worse?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, I suppose some people would be upset about it, but I'm not. I like
Yeah.
fajitas. I like big burritos with rice in them. I know that's not Mexican style, but it's Tex-Mex, right? And so it's a blend of things, and certainly different than Cal-Mex food. So, and Arizona Mexican food, a little different still, right? Different part of Mexico touches over there. So, I don't get too mad about it. I love that people are trying it. I love that smoked chilies are a lot more common now, and to be able to get some melted cheese in between some tortillas. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that's a treat because who doesn't love a quesadilla? I mean, those things are great.
Yes, simple but delicious for
Yeah.
sure. So, what
Yes.
is a classic Mexican comfort food dish that has not gained international fame yet, but absolutely deserved to?
I think a tostada is just
Oh,
great.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I am particularly fond of a tostada and pozole. So you got like soup and salad basically,
Yes.
and it's just so good. And I crave that quite often. So I would say the sooner people realize and not be bound by convention when it comes to tostadas. One of my favorite dishes to make is um, ranch eggs, huevos rancheros, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when I make huevos rancheros, it's whatever's in the kitchen. And I don't stand by convention on that. I'm like, oh, they got beans, they got some meat here, they got an egg, they got avocado. All right. And then all of a sudden that's huevos rancheros. And so I think when folks get a chance to realize that Mexican food is not, it's what you've got around, just like any other kind of food. And you haven't have a theme, you might have a flavor, you might use different spices, but it's very attainable. And so, yeah, make huevos rancheros. Just start by making eggs on top of a tortilla and add stuff and see what you like and don't like. Add a couple of sauces, take them, or whatever. But
Yes.
that's sort of the point, I think, is just to try it and see if you can find something that's really wonderful. And by the way, guacamole. Hello.
Mm,
Yes, please and thank you. Oh my God, I love guacamole. And there's a
for
million ways
sure.
to make guacamole. You want to talk about comfort food?
True.
Man, how many times do I come home and either me or my special someone say, "Let's get guacamole," and we just love it. Oh my God, we love guacamole. Yeah, and so like in certain places, different vibes, different tastes. I don't know how it is by you, but there's a lot of different ways to make guacamole. Mine is more of a salad. Hers is more of like a mashed potato kind of consistency. And then this restaurant we go to just has a whole different. I mean, love, 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 love guacamole. That's probably my number one comfort. That probably is what it is.
Definitely. Me too, Mr. Pete. Me too. Well, one of the superfoods. Why not? Avocado.
Yeah.
Please eat avocado every day. Why not? So, Mr. Pete,
Yeah.
what is your most cherished memory associated with cooking or eating Mexican food?
Well, there's that story from Afghanistan. That's the most cherished one. That was just really special. But to give you a different story, I used to work at this record store, very famous record store called Tower. And across
Mm.
the street was a mall, and they had these big, delicious burritos. And whoever I was with, me and that person would walk across the street, go to the mall, grab, and it was just such a neat time because I was 18, right? So I was super young, but I was independent. And so I was doing this fun thing with just people that I adored. I loved that job. And so I just think fondly back to that time and how many burritos, because you can always afford a burrito, and how many burritos I had that year. Oh my God, it was so good and so fun and just great to go out to a meal with somebody, and just I don't know, I love it. I have very fond memories of that part of my life.
Definitely. Truly, truly, truly cherishing. If
Yeah.
you could design the perfect taquero or taco chef, what
Uh-huh.
three essential skills would they possess?
Well, they're able to brown vegetables, like onions and peppers, that kind of thing. They're able to brown
Yes.
those and really bring the food to life with that. Plus, when you do that, your taco truck is going to smell wonderful because that's the best smell in the world. A little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, a little pepper, and just smelling around where we are. Anytime you get out of a major event, a concert, a football game, baseball, whatever it's going to be, they have vendors that have hot dogs wrapped in bacon, and it's all like Mexican style vegetables and everything, and it smells so good. So I think that's the first thing is a mastery of how to brown vegetables so that they smell great and taste great, and then add those in as needed. You throw a little bit of chopped bell pepper in anything that's if it's been browned or smoked. Oh my God,
Yes.
so good.
Something else. So good. So, Mr. Pete, for someone wanting to move beyond basic tacos and guacamole, what is the
Mhm.
great next level dish to try cooking at home?
I would say something simple like just a Mexican steak, steak and beans.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a flat steak, and you just cook the hell out of it and try that. And you can spice it up a little bit with some of the cumin or some of those Mexican spices. But and that's probably the best thing, just a little bit of that and keep it simple. Just a steak, a little bit of vegetables that are grilled. Again, that's always good.
Yes.
And
Yes.
anytime you can smoke a chili, whether it's a jalapeno or something else, add that in. And it's not hard to make those. You throw them on the grill. Just throw them on the grill and come back and get them in a few minutes, and they'll be nice and delicious. So that ups your game easily. So go smoke chilies. That's what I would say.
Definitely. And Mr. Pete, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, and my Book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Pete, if your personality were a Mexican dish, which one would it be and why?
Just a cold Mexican beer. That's what I'd be. Smooth and easy. And I would be served under a palapa on the beach, because what is better than to be that? I would love to be a sweaty Mexican beer bottle filled with beer under a palapa on a beach. That's my dish right there. Just drink that lunch.
Mr. Pete A. Turner, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your podcast itself or any advocacy that you're doing right now?
Yeah, that's the main thing is my show is on YouTube. Just type in Pete A. Turner and you'll find it. I'm always working on some kind of charity thing, but just in general, just make sure you do something with charity. If you're an adult, make sure you're doing something with charity, whether you're paying or working for a charity. Get out and go do
Yes.
it. Whatever your thing of choice is, get out there and get active, because it will. They need the help. Charity is never easy. It's the main thing, but also the rewards are wonderful. So get out there and just go find one and get to work. If you need an idea, hit me up on X. I'll help you find something.
Definitely. And please do support my Book 101 Review Foundation because it helps less fortunate children all over the world. So, Mr. Pete, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.